How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
Another week of fights means another week of Story of the Fight. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ramiro, and that's my boy, Will. This is where we talk all things combat sports. Today, we will be covering UFC 307. We will be covering One Fight Night 25. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers, 20K. What are we at right now, Will?
We're at 15-something, 15,400 or
15 something.
Something like that. 15,000.
15 something.
We're close. We're getting there.
Yes. So if you like listening, but you don't necessarily like watching, I don't know why you wouldn't, because we show pictures, clips, a lot of fun things. But if you like listening, where else can they find us, Will?
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight everywhere. But Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, anywhere podcasts were found. It's Story of the Fight. StoryoftheFight.com will list everything: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, everything. Blue Sky? No, Blue Sky's not on there. We do have it, but it's not on there.
Ganscow says, honestly, we can skip most of that UFC card, and Ganscow, we will.
Guess what, Ganscow?
Hey, Genevieve's joining us. Welcome, Genevieve. I hope all is going well. We missed you on the last stream. Coleslaw also comes through saying, let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
and let's go.
Look,
let's talk about UFC 307. Why not? Look, dude, your boy was looking forward to this one. I was excited, Will. I reached out to you before. I was like, your boy's going to play some bets. We partnered together on some bets. Did I win any money? No. But it's okay. It's okay. It was still fun nonetheless. But look, dude, we had Alex Pereira going up against Khalil Rountree Jr. A lot of people saw this fight pop up, and they're like, I don't know about this. What's going on? How does Khalil Rountree fit into the picture? What do you think?
I don't think it was necessarily that. I think it was more the matchup was fantastic. There's no way this is going to be a boring fight or anything. It's just that Khalil hadn't quite earned the title shot, and I think that's kind of the narrative going into it, more so than like this fight's gonna suck. I don't want to see this. It was more just like, why?
Why? You had Nikita Krylov. You have Volkan. No time. Ozdemir in there too.
Yeah.
You had Alexander Rakic. You had Jan Blachowicz, Jamal Hill, and Ankalaev, and of course Yidri.
Yeah, Ankalaev fights to a draw in a title shot in a vacant title bout, and then gets a knockout win after that. And then they're like, you could fight down against Rakic. And then the UFC was like, what's that?
Is the defending champion of the predictions back? Is that Regen? Regen is back. What up, Regen?
Man. Congrats on all the success, Regen. I've been seeing you killing it. Good job. That's so sick to see. But yeah, the Ankalaev thing, he clearly deserved it. And then in an interview, they asked Dana about that, and he's like, Ankalaev was booked though. And it's like, you booked him.
Yeah, he was by you.
Yeah, you made this. It's so funny. But yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, we got another title shot here, and it was fucking awesome. Regardless of all that, it was still a great fight.
Look, and we said it all depends on whether your boy Khalil Rountree comes in Bangkok ready, right?
Yeah, and he did.
And if he did, man, he did.
Yeah.
So first
things first.
Yeah, go for
it. The stare down.
Oh,
I mean, again, once
better
again,
than that?
Yes, it does. It was better with Yidri, but it was still very good.
I think any stare down with Koatan, dude. The walkout, dude. The little as he walks in.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, hey, shout out to Coleslaw. Got on y'all's show. Yeah, so the stare down. We have some pictures of the stare down. I believe Khalil looked a little nervous, a little bit. He's a little shifty during the stare down. Meanwhile, and the other thing too is we should have a picture of it, Rich, if it's letting you swap it. There we go. The difference is also the corner behind him. They're all hyping him up. Come on, man. Like trying to hype him up, right? You switch to Alex Pereira. And everybody.
Stone Cold Killers, bro.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man.
So I think it was the first fight when they got that angle that's like off to the side
Yidri.
behind Potan, and you see Yidri in the distance, and they're both staring
Oh
each
my
other down.
God.
They found that angle. They're like, dude, this is money. Anytime
Use
Potan, they did the exact same thing with Khalil. It didn't have the same impact to your point, right? But it was still an awesome stare down. I think I sent you a snapshot too, or a picture.
You
and I was
did,
like,
yeah.
this guy is absolutely terrifying, dude.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old Pride days, dude. Like the Crocott Vonderlei stare down was so fucking awesome. And it seems like since then up until now, we haven't really had that type of stare down. And Alex brings it every time. Light heavyweight is just so cool when it's good, you know? It's such a cool because they're faster than heavyweights, but they hit super hard. So it's like when there's good, fun light heavyweights, that division is just so cool. Khalil, let's get into the actual fight.
Yes. Did you expect him to start off with this running front
The
kick?
front kick? No.
I was like,
but
where did this come
beautiful.
from?
Beautiful. Got stuck a little bit over the shoulder. But yeah, I thought it was very cool. Good way to start the fight from Alex. But then after that point, I thought Khalil was perfect, man. He was looking so good. Like, first off,
Very
the
poised.
big
Looking
thing,
very poised.
very poised. He's so violent. I forgot who said it, but it was like every time Khalil fights, it looks like he's beating you up for like you owe him money. And it's so perfect. But the first thing everybody knows about Alex is the left hook, right? Everybody knows the left hook's a knockout shot. Watch out for the left hook. Watch out for the left hook. It's not quite there for him against southpaws, and that was, remember, the narrative going into the Jamal Hill fight was like, well, how's he going to land that? So open stance. Khalil's a southpaw. What does he start doing? He starts throwing his lead hook, just almost as a feeler. Here it is right here. This is his right hook. Alex wants to hide behind that lead shoulder, his left shoulder, have it roll off. But even when it did, he throws the left straight right after it. Right hook, left straight. Right hook, left straight. I believe the next shot here is the left straight also. Bam, right down the middle. And it was perfect because
landed
Alex,
a few times.
Yeah, if you notice, Alex gets a little careless with his lean back. His defense a lot of the times is to lean back. So even if he leans back and evades that lead right hook from Khalil, he's now leaned all the way back. The left straight can hit the target. There's nowhere for it to go. He can't slip back on the second punch because he has already slipped back. You don't really see Alex lean back, dip, roll around the other side. Like, you don't really see that from him, you know? And Khalil, I thought, was very good at being aggressive and just throwing that combination over and over and over again. And he was catching them, dude. The first 2 rounds, he was catching them.
Yeah, and Khalil showed off his speed too, man.
Yeah.
He seemed to be a lot faster than Poatan. And you're sitting on pins and needles the entire time because you're like, man, either one of these guys can drop the other one at any given time, right? And we see it in the second round. Poatan starts landing that calf kick a little more often. He decides to go up with a high kick, just misses, gets a little careless as he's turning back around, and Khalil wraps that arm around.
Yeah, I think it's 2 pictures from here, Rich. We have it in the slideshow. And real quick, as we get there, Austin says, can't stay tonight, but excited to see the vid later, guys. Have a good one. Can't wait to see your combo on Lineker because he's legit insane. Yes,
Another Brazilian with hands of stone, dude. I don't know what it is that they're putting that water over there, that Amazon water.
That Amazon water.
Dude.
But here's the high kick that misses, and Alex...
ever so slightly.
Yeah, and Alex spins completely around, and as he's turned around, Khalil cracks him, dude. They didn't give him a knockdown for that. I feel like that should have counted.
Oh, for sure should have counted.
Hilarious picture, by the way. If it just out of context, this is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the best fighter in the world right now. The guy getting hit with his back turned.
And then Khalil lands a high kick of his own
flush
to end that same round. So
and
I'm telling myself, like, we got to fight here, man.
It's very good. Regen says Alex puts himself in the same situation that got him caught against Izzy.
Yes.
He's still open to that combo. Yeah. But there was one thing, and we'll get to it, that he clearly learned from the Izzy fight that was on display in this one. To your point, end of the third round, or that was the end of the second round. Third round, you could see Khalil starting to slow down a little bit. Alex starts sticking him with that jab. like literally just the whole third round. He's just jabbing, busts him open. Looks like GSP out there with the jab against Koscheck.
So he's landing the jab, and then Khalil in this round's breathing heavier. He starts feigning some more, but he's not going. And he starts doing a lot of hand magic.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is where Alex
just like, well,
shines.
let me just jab you in the face then while you're doing all this hand stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, if you look at that last
picture,
he's literally jabbing over a feeler hand from Khalil. And he landed the left hook off a parry from Sean Strickland. He was setting up Jamal with the hand fighting to get the top hand. Like, he's so good at hand fighting. It's like, don't even do it. Don't engage. Yeah. For end of the third round, he started turning up a little bit. And I was like, oh no. And it was like, all right, we haven't seen Khalil in a title fight go into the championship rounds. They're in Salt Lake City. The elevation's crazy. Like, this is not gonna. We know Alex can pull it out with a minute left of the fifth round. That's what we got Izzy with, right? And we don't know if Khalil can do that. And it's trending away from him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the fourth round was a mauling, dude.
Dude, look how beat up he looks all of a sudden.
Yeah, Genevieve is gonna be happy.
Yeah, oh yeah. His eyes split open, his nose is busted, he's bleeding out of his mouth.
Still throwing.
It was still throwing, dude. And in some cases from the hips. Like, he's just like shelling up and then just whack, throws one real quick, trying to land something, dude. Swinging for the fences. Why not?
Swinging for the fences.
Ninth inning. And you're down.
It's the fourth round. Fifth round would probably be the ninth inning.
No. I'm saying ninth inning because it was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, and before we get it, this is going to be the finishing sequence here in the slideshow. But right before the finishing sequence, Alex is going in for the kill. Blood's in the water. He's tagging him, and Khalil's trying to throw back, counter these shots. And Alex is hopping in, bam, piston of a right hand. Lean back, slips the counter, hits him again. Leans back, slips the counter, hits. It was, he learned it, like, because remember, that's what happened in the Izzy fight. When he got finished by Izzy, he hurts him, and he goes, blood in the water. Let me start finishing this guy. And as he's throwing to finish Izzy cracks him and drops him and KOs him, right? And this time, same exact sequence. He's pushing him up against the fence with these shots. Nope, let me step back. Bam, step back. Bam. Like, literally like 6 times in a row.
And yeah, dude, it was such a good rhythm. And it looked almost like he was hit. What's that little boxing thing called? Where it's on that little... it's like that little boxing bag. You hit it and it just bounces back at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like that. That's all it looked like he was working. It was like, whap, whap, whap. It's like back and forth. And it's weird to say, but it was beautiful to watch. It was like art.
Yeah.
Well, like they're dancing. Like just going really back and forth. What?
So he steps in with that knee. That was like the beginning of the end. That knee, I don't know if it hit the nose weird or something. But Khalil like took a pause after that, and it was like, oh, this might be the end. He cracks him over the top, and then goes, bam, bam, digs 2 hard shots to the body as Khalil's shelled up against the fence.
So good.
And then bam, one up top for good measure. And then that's what he like takes a knee. He basically took a knee. It's not like he got knocked out, I'm not talking shit. I would have taken a knee a lot sooner. But the body shot
during the stare down, I would have taken the knee during the stare down.
Yeah. As soon as he saw him with the headdress.
I'm like, hey, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
Let me take it right now.
To dig to the body right there is so good. And as Ganskow says, Poaton's cardio, always on point, really good with the energy management. Dude, he's so good. That's probably one of his most underrated skill sets is his energy management. Yeah, I mean, Khalil was busted up.
Graphic warning.
So good. Great damage. Good blood. Yeah, I mean, it was bloodbath at the end, man. But Poatan is so poised. He's so poised all the time.
He's so fun to watch right now.
Yeah. I mean, just fucking... And Khalil...
Must see TV.
Yeah, and Khalil, props to him, man. It takes 2 to tango, and he took this deep. It was bad, dude. But he took him to the 4th round, and he won the first 2 rounds.
It went a lot further than I thought it would.
Yeah, and, I don't know if you saw Jamal Hill at the end when the finish happened. He's all looking around, making sure everybody's recording him. He's like yawning and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I was like, dude, get out of here, man.
Come on, dude. And then Alex in the post-fight press conference was like, yeah, I think he just woke up from UFC 300.
That's so good.
Yeah. But yeah,
Such
very
a
good.
response.
Khalil's stock skyrockets in a lot of people's eyes, I think.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people thought he didn't deserve this shot. And it's one thing. Here's the thing. I think he did not deserve this title shot. But I don't think that's not based off of skill set. I think that's just based off of where the division is at and the matchmaking and things like that.
Yeah.
But I still think he's a good fighter. I think a lot of people saw everybody talking about how he doesn't deserve the title shot, and they took it as he's not good enough to fight for the belt. And it's not that. It's just he hasn't beaten the right guys yet. The matchmaking hasn't gotten him there. That's why he doesn't deserve it. It's not because he sucks. So I think a lot of people went into it with that narrative of they heard everybody saying, oh, he doesn't deserve this title shot, and they thought, oh, this guy sucks. But that's not the case, and I think people know that now.
Now, I don't know how long his medical suspension is, but what do you do with Khalil next?
I mean, I think you rebook the Jamal Hill fight.
Oh,
he's going to be out for a while. Jamal, I don't know how long Jamal is out for. He had a pretty nasty leg injury, but that might line up. I'm not sure if it will, but if it does, I think that's the fight you do.
I like that. And then winner faces Pereira again?
No.
What would you do?
Winner faces Jan Blachowicz or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I don't know where Jan's at with his shoulder surgery. But Alex is probably going to be fighting the winner of Ankalaev versus Rakic, which is ridiculous. Because if Rakic beats Ankalaev, now he gets a title shot after he just lost to Yidri, sorry. Yaska says his Poton weaponizing short notice fights. Seems like it. He said he's going to take some time off, though. He said he's got some injuries and stuff. So
good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime Poton's on the card, I'm watching. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on the main event?
No, we can move on to the barn burner.
Oh, the people's main event. We had Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Peña. Holy smokes, everybody was looking forward to this one. We had Rocky going up against the Venezuelan Vixen. Yes. And I believe I predicted her ending this year with the belt yet again.
I think, you probably did. I don't remember what we predicted, but
I'm pretty sure I did.
I did predict she would win this fight. I didn't think that I would disagree with the decision after the fact. I'm not mad. I don't think it was a robbery or anything, but I thought I had Pennington winning this one. I thought Pennington outstruck her, landed the harder shots in the first round. The grappling from Peña won her, 2 and 3, and then I thought 4 and 5 again. The striking from Pennington, she got the knockdown. Thought she probably took this fight 1, 4, and 5, but ultimately I don't think I care enough to be upset. Is that me?
But you think Rocky took it?
I thought Rocky won. I did.
Okay. I thought it was a clear 3 rounds to 2 for the Venezuelan Vixen. Julianna Peña coming in, the champion, leaving the champion. Oh, man. Look, I predicted Julianna Peña would end the year, so your boy was cheering hard for the Venezuelan Vixen, dude. I had it 5 rounds to none.
Yeah. Even
the
round she got knocked down.
Absolutely, dude. I thought it was a slip. She slipped. But
she didn't even land on it. Coleslaw says we can all agree that they need to let women's division use the juice. I think they probably already have. Have you seen Kayla Harrison?
She's all natty, dude. All natty. So, this weird stance that Julianna comes in with,
How about this punch? You like that punch?
I don't know who her striking coach is.
She rolls her fist over.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Perfect timing, Rich. But let's stick to the grappling. Like, that's what got you to the dance.
Yeah.
Right? That's what made you a contender in the division. And yes, still won the fight. Right? I wink. and we'll get into the judging later, I'm sure, but
we might not have time to get into the judging. We only got 10 more minutes to cover UFC.
Okay, well, hey, let's get it moving. Julianna Peña, the villain,
she gets the belt.
Vixen, got close to choking out Raquel.
I thought she had it.
I thought so too. But then they reminded us that it's over the chin.
Yeah,
and that was it.
But then the cool knockdown, the big right hand, bam, drops her in the fourth was cool. Regen says, "Oh, look at this picture. Look at the form on that punch." Regen says Valentina needs to move up and take that second belt and retire double champ just like Amanda. Yes.
Ooh.
Do it before Kayla gets there, and then we can have Kayla take over, I guess. And even that's not the best situation to be in.
Ganskow says he also predicted Peña. So I'm sure he was also rooting for Peña. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to the next one. We had Mario Bautista versus Jose Aldo. Hey, Rio, the king of Rio, coming in for this one. I'm always excited to see Mr. Jose Aldo. Plus, in his last fight, before this one, he looked absolutely fantastic when he beat Jonathan Martinez.
He looked great in this one, too.
He did. He looked really good in this one, too. He's, 38 years old?
Something like that, dude. But USADA's gone, and Aldo's out of retirement.
In full effect.
Yeah.
And, dude, he looked fantastic in there.
He looks so – dude, he's so complete offensively and defensively with his striking. It's so fun to watch. Like, even Bautista would throw something that you weren't expecting, and he's already, bam, bringing the knee up to block body kicks. Like, he's just so good as we pull up a picture of him not blocking the body kick. But but he did it a lot, I promise. But then, like, the jab, the step-in knee, he busts him open with the jab. He's slotting his shots around the guard of Bautista. Gasco says we don't really know how old he is. There are rumors.
Yeah, it's like those kids from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic in the Little League World Series.
Yeah,
I'm 12. I am 12. Yeah, exactly.
But man, Aldo just looks so sharp in here. His takedown defense once again is just stuffing every takedown. The knee he landed, it's like a jumping knee or a step up knee up through the middle was so fucking cool.
Is that the one where Bautista kept on ducking his head and trying to throw that overhand right?
Yeah.
And he countered. He made that adjustment. He came up with that knee right up the middle. It was beautiful. But Bautista the entire night kept on really just – I felt like he was just throwing his strikes to clinch, get him up against the cage, and try to wear him out that way.
Yeah. Well, if we look, the next picture I believe is the knee. All the damaging shots. And then what's the next picture, Rich? Okay, there's a good shot from Bautista. And the next one? Okay, there we go. Bautista gets the win. You're like, that's weird. All of the pictures were Aldo landing damaging shots. There must be highlights from Bautista. No, there are no photos of highlights of Bautista. So I had to go back and screenshot all of his highlights. So Rich, if we can just breeze through the next few pictures.
There's a highlight. There's another one blocking the there's another one up against the cage, clinching.
Mm-hmm. Oh, round 2 now.
Oh, okay. Fighting for the head position. Yes. Yeah. Fighting the hands. Aldo separating.
Oh, we're round 3 now.
Okay.
Round 3 now. Oh, wait, hold on. Beltran separated them at 1 minute and 35 seconds. He separated them in the third round. What's the next highlight? 10 seconds later, he's back.
Right back at it.
And then there's Dana.
And Jose's like, dude, you brought me back for this? Dude.
Yeah.
You brought me back for this, Dana? I was happy in the boxing world, and you brought me back for this? Get out of town.
So frustrating. Yeah, we don't have to go on about this. The judging is horrible. I don't know how holding someone up against the fence with no threatening, like, I get it. Takedown defense doesn't score, but I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like, neither does stalling. Stalling doesn't hold or doesn't score. So, like, anytime he wasn't, and that's all he was doing, it was all just stalling.
Yeah, just like Raquel Pennington stalling, holding the belt for Julianna Peña for so long. Venezuelan Vixen, let's go. All right, we'll move on. We also had Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah, another banger of a fight. For some reason, Kevin Holland is back at 185 because he's losing at 170, but it's like, dude, you should still be at 170. Fight Carlos Prates. Maybe now he will. That's what I want to see. There's no photos of this fight either because there was nothing worth taking photos of, I guess. We'll just breeze through it. Holland, he starts throwing a lot of leg kicks. 2 minutes of just straight leg kicks from Holland, and Dolidze is like, I'm going to catch one of these. So he does, and he takes him down.
Yep. Takes
him down. Notice these are all shitty screenshots that I had to take once again.
Great framework, I was going to say.
Yeah. Bam. And then Holland goes for an armbar, and you're like, oh, Holland gets a lot of arm bars. He's very cool off his back. He does a lot of fun things.
But against
and then Dolidze sits out and just throws him over, shucks him to the side as he sticks his legs. There he goes. He shucks him to the side, and you're like, oh, what's Holland doing with his hand there? Okay, whatever. Dolidze's like, bam, I'm just going to swing on this dude, missing every shot. He's just going left, right, so as Holland just goes left, right.
About that rhythm that Poeton had where he's like lands back, lands back, lands back. Well, Dolidze had the exact same rhythm where he was just throwing left, right, left, right.
Yeah.
And Holland was on the exact same rhythm.
Literally just dodging.
Avoiding every shot.
And then in this shot, you see him start talking shit. Even though he's in full mount and he's missing all of his shots, Holland starts talking shit back. And then because he's talking shit, Dolidze lands a massive elbow right as he's talking shit. And there's a picture of that landing.
Yep.
There it is. And then he goes right back to talking shit. He survives the round and he's like, ooh, my side. And you're like, what happened there? So they do a replay in the corner in between rounds. And as he throws the armbar up, he rolls over, he grabs his rib, and you're like, that's not good. And then you notice, oh, he's also screaming in pain.
Yeah,
in the next shot.
I thought it was his shoulder or something.
I thought it's because Dolidze dropped his knee on him, on his head, and he was complaining about it being illegal.
Oh.
But it wasn't. He destroyed a rib, I'm guessing, and then his coach calls it in between rounds. Very cool to see. Coaches need to step in like that. DC's like,
his coach was like, I can't tell you what to do. Like, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, dude, you got to tell me. He's like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like,
yeah,
all right, dude, we're calling it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, should have been a verbal tap, is what Ganscow said. Hey, could have been.
Could have been. And then Dolidze gets a black belt for the takedown.
Dislocating somebody's rib.
He gets the black belt. Ganscow says should have been a verbal tap. Yep, you scream in pain. It should be a verbal tap.
Yes.
We've got 2 minutes.
All right.
I don't really know there's not really not much to talk about that fight. It sucked.
All right. Joaquin Buckley versus Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson doing his karate stance thing, trying to avoid as many shots as possible. But when you're going up against a Joaquin Buckley, yes.
He was picking his shots well. He was tagging Buckley. Buckley just running on a straight line, getting picked apart a little bit. The problem is Wonder Boy doesn't move as well as he used to. So every time he'd get backed up, he'd go, bam, hit my back against the fence, and I'll circle off after that. And Buckley's like, all right, keep doing that. Keep hitting back up against the fence.
You know, we start getting up in age when that like little belly flap starts hanging over your shorts.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like, oh, yeah, loose skin right there. It's about time. And we said it since the very first time we saw Buckley, man. His head movement when he's coming in and closing the distance, so good. I love Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to extend his shots. He's a shorter guy, but he has a long reach. And so he's always dangerous no matter what range you're fighting from. And look, especially when he gets you up against that cage and you can't move back pretty much anymore, you're going to get caught with one of those.
Exactly. And Wonder Boy's just not – he was seeing the shots well. Like, he was – like, up until the finish, I thought he was tagging him well as he was moving backwards. It just he just kept getting – he kept falling into the same habit of backing up against the fence. You can't do that with Buckley. You have to circle. That's like – it's
right on the nose. Look at that.
Yeah.
And he just crumbled.
He just slumped him. He slumped
Poor Wonder Boy.
Blunderbob says, okay, then every heavyweight is over the hill by that logic. True. They are all also 40.
a majority of them. But, no, actually, Aspinall is not like that.
True. Well, there's
a majority of them. But a majority of them are. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
He is closer to 50 than he is to Buckley's age. I'm not going to fact check that. I believe Ganscow, and that's hilarious. And even if it's not true, I'm going to believe it. And then the last thing we're going to cover for the UFC is Carla Esparza, retired, multiple-time champ.
First strawweight champ, wasn't she?
Yeah, beating Thug Rose at the end of Ultimate Fighter.
Yep. Great picture, adorable
cool.
To have the little one in the Cookie Monster outfit.
Yeah.
But yes.
And then that's about it.
Respect to Miss Carla Esparza. That's it. How about moment of silence?
Moment of silence. Both fights that we lost would have been cooler than what we got. Evloev was supposed to fight Aldo. Aldo pulled out. They rebooked it. Chris Curtis, I guess, broke his foot. So Kevin Holland took Dolidze on short notice, and Dolidze broke his rib. So that sucks for him. So that's it for moment of silence.
Bonuses?
We had Buckley got a bonus for knocking out my boy. And then Span got one for, what did he guillotine him with? He guillotined OSP, right?
Yep.
And he said, I'm going to mount you with the guillotine. I'm not going to let you Von Flue choke me. I'll just end up on top. So that was cool. And then fight of the night was Poatan versus Rountree, obviously.
Oh,
well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. Absolutely. All right. We're moving on now, right, Will?
Yeah, we're moving on. We did it 31 minutes. We went a little bit over. But yeah.
But we're splitting the show in half. We also are covering One Fight Night 25. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, goes a long way. Whether it's UFC, whether it's one, we cover a lot of different things, combat sports related. But please make sure you like, subscribe, and also, hey, it's a little surprise guest for everybody.
Whoa, a special surprise for the chat.
Some call him the GOAT when it comes to reporting. The GOAT 1 reporting. We have Mr. Nick Akin himself joining us again. How's it going, Nick?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. How are you?
Thanks for joining us yet again.
Of course.
Look, we talked about it before. We're like, hey, what are we gonna do going forward? And the GOAT reporter is just probably the way to go, I think.
Anytime. I love to chat with you boys. Yeah, you're awesome. And what a night or morning we had in Bangkok. I've just about recovered, guys.
Yeah, once again, I don't know how you do it, dude. You're flying here, you're flying there, you're back in the weekend.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dude.
I'm about ready for a long break. We have 4 weeks off now between events. I'm very happy to just stay home for 4 weeks. Been on the road for 5 weeks on the last.
Any plans? Any plans for those 4 weeks?
Sitting in this chair on my sofa, doing some work, playing some video games, hiking. The weather's dropped in Hong Kong. It's less hot now. Finally, we have these endless summers, 6-month summers. So I'm glad I took a hike yesterday. The dogs, very fun. But I'm here to talk fights, not hikes, guys. So throw it at me. Yeah.
With that, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. I love the transition. We'll cover the main event. We got Eersel versus Nicolas.
Yeah. I mean, first off, right off the bat, this was probably, this is close. I don't want to say it. It's recency biased, but I fucking love this fight. This might be my favorite fight of the year. It didn't have the crazy drama of like a ton of knockdowns and all this stuff, but dude, this fight was fucking beautiful. It was amazing. I think.
Wow, fight! I mean, your favorite fight of the year?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you that it's the best fight of the year, but oftentimes the best fight's not my favorite fight. This fight was. It had a lot of things going for it. It's a rematch. Eersel lost his belt after fucking who knows how long in the first fight. He gets dropped in it, and then. Here we have the rematch. He comes out with the Immortal Mask still, one of the coolest walkouts in my opinion. And then they just proceed to have a beautiful fight, both of them. It was so fun. Nick was there for it. Pretty jealous of that. What did you think of it?
It was so beautiful. Like you said, I agree exactly with everything you say, Will. It's not the most obvious candidate for fight of the year, and it will totally get overlooked by everyone, as one fights often do. But everyone was raving about Poatan and Khalil Rountree, rightly so. I actually caught the end of that fight. It was the only thing I saw on the UFC show the other day. But everyone's raving about it, like, oh, this is amazing. But you get that every week, every month in one championship. You know what I mean? Just go and watch some kickboxing, guys, because that's pretty much what you were watching there. And this was beautiful. Two guys in their absolute prime. Alexis Nicolas never lost a fight before, and he was the first man to beat Eersel in 8 years. Last time they fought in June, and Regan Eersel had to adapt, change his game, and he said it would be beautiful violence, and it was. It really was. I cannot stress how much I love this fight too.
Yeah, I didn't know he said that, because it is literally perfect. Because, and like you said, he had to change his game and adapt, because the first fight he ate so many leg kicks, and that's something that people have been. That's one of the things when you have a dominant champ. There's so much footage of that champ that people can watch and pick up habits and tendencies and then exploit them. And one of the big things was the leg kicks. And you see this fight, he starts switching his stance to southpaw pretty much immediately to take away that rear low kick from Nicolas. But then Nicolas, instead of being like, I don't know what to do about this, he starts blasting that body kick, which is perfect up against with the open stances. And so you're seeing Eersel come in with a new game plan, and then Nicolas adapting to it immediately. And just both these guys went toe to toe for the whole fight. And it was fucking awesome, dude. What did you think, Romero? We've been talking about
in the beginning, Eersel seemed to be winning a lot of the close-up battle, right? Every time that they were in the phone booth and they were exchanging, Eersel seemed to have the last laugh. A lot of times with that extending right, as soon as Nicolas seemed to be exiting a little bit. But as the fight continued going on, it seemed like it flipped around, where Nicolas then started actually stringing together some combinations in close. But what I noticed is that he started off with a leg kick and then worked his way up, body kick, and then continued the combo up top, which is different, right? Because usually you see the combo starting up top and then they finish with the leg kick.
They finish with a kick, yeah.
Yeah. So I found that to be very, very interesting for Nicolas in the later rounds.
Yeah, and normally it's Eersel who starts taking the later rounds. And this fight, the first 3 rounds, he was like an avalanche. He always has a crazy pace. He puts a big pace on people. And that's kind of what got him caught in the first fight. When he got dropped, he came in a little too reckless maybe. But those first 3 rounds of this fight, just nonstop forward pressure. I think that was probably another adjustment besides the stance switch. If I can crowd this guy, he won't be able to kick my legs as effectively. But it was exhausting to watch. And both these guys stayed that output the whole fight. They didn't slow down really.
Output was amazing. Eersel with the nonstop pressure the entire fight. Were you pretty happy with the decision, both of you?
I was. I thought Eersel took it. What did you think, Nick?
Yeah, I spoke to the 3 judges afterwards, and I think 2 of them gave it 3-2 Eersel, and Shane gave it 4-1. And I was happy with either. I thought I agree with you, Will and Ramiro, that Eersel came out like a house on fire. I think he faded a little bit at the end. Round 5 was clearly Nicolas, but
yes.
I think Regian got the job done in the first 3 rounds. Pretty much the way I thought. Same with DiBella and Prajanchai, and that's what I thought that scorecard would be, 3-2 to DiBella. I thought it was the same. He got the job done over the first 3 rounds. Nicolas tried to come back, but couldn't do enough without a knockout. Absolutely no problems with the scorecard. Don't think Alexey can have any problems. He seemed a bit unhappy backstage, calling for a trilogy rematch, but I think Regian's earned the right to move on now. He's got another belt too, Muay Thai. He told me he wants to defend that next. I think that's fair because you've got other guys over there waiting for him, like Dmitry Menchikov. But yeah, all good with the scores.
I think too. It's one of those things where a fight like this, it's so good and it's so close that, like, if you lose it, you're good. If you lose, it's probably you're like, how a fight this close, you think you're winning. There's no way either of these guys think they're losing this fight when all things are said and done, you know? So yeah, I don't blame him for being like, a little peeved about the decision.
Upset.
Yeah, because when you're in the fire, you know, Genevieve says there it goes. She said, honestly, most of this card had me pretty bored, which is not what I expect from one.
Look, if there's not blood, Genevieve's not entertained.
Yeah. And shout out to Blunderbob says not enough blood for Genevieve. And shout out Pepper in the
It wasn't
chat.
the best card, but I think it had that fight of the year for me, and it had John Lineker doing John Lineker things, and it had a Johan Estupinan, another great knockout for him. I think you're going to talk about it in a bit. So yeah, it wasn't as good as last Friday's one, the Friday Fights 81, but still had some cool stuff.
Yeah, and even on paper, there was a lot of interesting matchups on this card that didn't come through or didn't end up happening. That I think would have put it over a little bit more. But even on paper, like this wasn't going to compare to Friday Fights 81, right? Like that card was so insane, and they stacked it, and it all delivered. That's not always going to happen, I still very much enjoyed it. And speaking of, Pepper says thoughts on 169 being back in Thailand. We will probably get to that.
Yes. Do you want to move on to the next one, Will?
Yeah, Nick already brought it up.
Yep. We had John Lineker versus Alexey Balko.
Dude, what? Look, John Lineker. People are talking about Eersel being underrated, rightfully so, but Lineker, I don't think people talk about him enough for being one of the best action fighters of all time. He might not have reached a UFC belt or won title and things like that, but I mean, the guy is always in crazy fights. Either violence is happening to him or he's throwing it back. Like, how many times have you seen a boring Lineker fight?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't think of any.
And Nick, to your credit, you were like, everybody's talking about Poatan versus Khalil, rightfully so. But that thing, those fights happen all the time. And I made this for Chester earlier in the week. You watching the fights? Yes. And you like to see more fun fights? Yep. Since one has really good fights, you enjoy watching one. That makes sense to me. So start watching one. I'll just watch UFC. I swear, dude, it's crazy. The amount of conversations I've had like that is insane. But it is what it is. Before we look at pictures, let's just look at this clip of what Lineker did in this fight.
That step in left hook, man, is lightning fast, and it comes with so much power. And we know it's coming. They know it's coming.
Yeah. So that's the first knockdown.
After he knocks him down. And in my notes, I put down Lineker up close. When he smells blood's like a little Tasmanian devil, dude.
Yeah. There's a second one. I think
on the last one where he gets him up against the ropes and he just starts ripping to the body.
Dude, the way he does body shots, he just starts hooking, right? He's just left, right. And instead of going off rhythm like a lot of people go, he just starts going body head. And he's like, you don't always have to do some weird stutter step. You just have to start ripping to the body and the head. I mean, he killed him. There's another great one.
Hooking with the boys? Yeah, look at
this one right here.
Oh, what an angle. It's a good shot right there. Oh.
I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Dude, I was taking one of the vans back to the hotel, and we had to go pick up Alexey. He had to go to the hospital after that. He was feeling, I think it was just feeling nauseous, or nothing serious, but
just a little concussion, huh?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, not funny, but he's been doing that to everyone. He's fought in one, absolutely flatlining. And I put my clip of that fight on Twitter, and then someone messaged under saying like, "Oh, I'd love to see some evidence of Alexey Balko being dangerous," because I called him dangerous. So I just put my video of Alexey doing that to Stefan Karody a few months ago. And
he did it to who's the other one he did to Joaquin?
Yeah, he's got a couple of good knockouts on one Friday Fights, and also now Fight Night. I think he made his Prime Video debut, whatever you want to call it, against Karody in June and
that
July.
was nasty.
Yeah, So he definitely was dangerous, but I think Liam Harrison was smart to avoid this fight with John Lineker. They were trying to make that forever. They were trying to make Lineker versus Rodtang for Denver. I think those guys were very smart or fortunate to not be available, shall we say, injured perhaps, because John Lineker seems to just have some sort of secret for Muay Thai that works. He's not using any elbows, not clinching.
Just
those hands. Those hands are
just
stone.
Those hands of stone. Yeah. And the dark arts.
Let's see how far it goes. Can he go all the way to a title fight? Who knows? But I'm enjoying it. Long may it continue. John Lineker in Muay Thai. Why not, huh?
Yeah, so that brings us to the next thing. Shout out Combat Sports Today. Says Lineker versus Sexton. I want Lineker, which would be a banger, but I would rather, and Nick, you might feel a certain type of way about this, but I think I can present it. If you are a certain type of way about it, I think I can present it in a way to get you on board. I want Lineker versus Kulabdam. I want it really bad.
That's a good fight, yeah.
And I'll say what I was going to say anyways. You have been jonesing for Kulabdam to get the contract. Yeah. Lineker's not fighting on Friday fights unless it's a tentpole. Bring Kulabdam to the main stage. Put him up against Lineker. They both crack with the left hand. I want to see the left meteorite versus the hands of stone.
Yeah.
I need that fight.
No more selling needed to me. I'm on board already.
Because, I mean, realistically, they might want to do Lineker versus like a bigger name. Shout out Chummy Boy says he's so short, he just keeps throwing in the pocket. It's perfect.
It makes it easier to rip to the body.
Yeah, it really does. You're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kulabdam would be a good one. I know he called out Rodtang. I mean, look at that picture, dude. Moments before disaster, that last picture.
Wow.
Yeah, I know he called out Rodtang. I don't think that's happening. There's just no way that's happening. At least not in the timetable that Lineker. I mean, Lineker fought in Denver and then he fought again now. I was going to say put him on Atlanta. Now that that's not happening in Atlanta, I don't know. But he didn't really take much damage. Well, actually, even in this one, during the finishing sequence, like Balco's tagging him. He's getting clipped. He just doesn't care. It just doesn't affect him. And Asa Pao was also landing shots on him. He was landing that knee up the middle, which is a great weapon against someone, as they said, with a shorter stature. The knee up the middle is perfect. He just eats it. He just keeps coming forward.
Yeah, he's the king of taking one shot to give a bigger one, I think. Someone said that on social somewhere I saw. It's absolutely correct.
And it's working for him. And it's working for him.
And I think one is very happy because I think it's working for them too.
Well, I guess they're saving some money on his MMA purse, which is probably astronomical relatively. And he's getting the $50K bonus when he does his job. So I'm sure there's not too much of a disparity from what he gets in MMA. So it's good for them. Lineker's happy to just stay active. We saw he's trying to fight anyone, anything. You know, he did the Shinya Aoki fight at whatever that was, lightweight in Japan on crazy. 1 hour's notice. You know, Lineker doesn't care. He just wants to fight, knock people out, get paid. He'll come back in a month if they have something for him for real. So
I love it.
Perfect fighter for one championship.
Dude, and he's so chill too. He was the last person I talked to in Denver as I left in the morning from the hotel. He was just sitting in that couch that was right by the exit door. And I was just like, congrats. And he just nods. And then he like stands up, he like shakes my hand and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, safe travels.
He speaks like a 0 words of English.
Yeah.
Completely zero. I'll try and say like hello. He's like, what? What do you want? He's got very little English, but he doesn't need any, you know. But shout out to No Mundao. They helped translate my interview with him. Check that out on my channel if you have not. He says he wants to fight not just Rodtang, but Superlek, you know, for the belt one day. So that'd be cool.
I love it.
Throw him in the mix. And to Nick's point, if you don't already follow Nick on everything, definitely do so because he does also cover way better than we do. I mean, he's at the events. He's posting sick-ass videos from the stands, great interviews with everybody.
Yeah. That's why we call him the GOAT, you know?
That's why he's the GOAT.
You guys do much better fight breakdowns, for real. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I love listening to you talk about these fights, even right now. You're very spot on, and I'm learning right now. So watch
Hey, I
me, but
appreciate
also
that.
keep watching these guys.
I appreciate it.
And to make it easy, his links are in our description of this video. If you don't follow, click them and follow.
Pepper saying Lineker versus Estupinan.
Ooh, I think you let both those stars
Yes,
rise
not yet.
parallel.
Not yet.
There's no need for them to meet right now. They can both just keep ascending, doing what they're doing with the hands. And
you know what's better than one shooting star? 2 shooting stars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let them shine. Let them shine.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on here. We also had Johan Estupinan versus Zakaria Jamari.
yeah, speaking of Estupinan, who also fought in Denver.
Yes.
And this one I was a little bit more skeptical of, I'm not going to lie, because while Lineker did eat some shots from Ace of 10 Pow, nothing really phased him or wobbled him, whereas Estupinan got caught and dropped, I think, twice in his fight with Klamaco. And I was like, yeah, he didn't get knocked out or anything, but getting dropped it's a quick turnaround. I don't necessarily like that. And then he was like, shut the fuck up, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. Because he fights like a man possessed, dude. He is
right off the bat. He's super fast. As soon as it starts, he's a fast starter, right?
Yeah.
Defense, why? You know?
Who needs it?
Who needs it? Yeah, just throw a variety of strikes. He's not going to know what's coming.
Yeah.
He got caught one where he had to take a step back, and you could tell that he was clipped hard.
Twice, early on in the fight, and then once he had Jamari hurt up against the corner, he cracked him with the big shot, and he wobbled, and even Jamari was like, I got you with that one. I think it might be right here. Yeah, right there.
Right there.
Which is great.
Yeah, but, Estupinan seems to recover quickly. I'll give him that. And there's this one where, he gets rocked at first. He's taking a step back. And then Jamari comes at him, and he takes a sidestep and clips him with the left himself as Jamari's coming in. So he still seems to have, like, his wits to him, even when he's a little rocked. Again, either he's not as hurt as we think, or he just recovers really quickly.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of both. The first one at the beginning of the fight when he got cracked, what scared me is he wiped his face a few times. And that's always scary because that makes me think broken orbital or something like that. When it feels like there's like blood running down, but it's not. And it's a weird feeling, and he clearly had it. I don't think anything was broken after, because obviously he kept taking shots on that same side and nothing happened. But man, he's a sniper too, dude. He really reminds me of it's like a mix between, for UFC fans, Anderson Silva and Pereira. The way he hops in. He hops in like he's Alex Pereira, but the way he comes forward with his striking and his shot selection really reminds me of early days Anderson Silva. Like the one that fought Chris Lieben, the one that broke on the scene, right? Where he was just steamrolling people. I'm not saying he's that level, right? But it just it looks like it. He has the same kind of looks.
But even the fact that he reminds you of is a pretty big compliment.
Yeah, and there was no photo of the shot that finished the fight, but luckily one has footage of it somewhere. I thought I had it queued up. Did they delete it? There's no way they deleted it.
No, why would they delete?
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
God.
Yes. And
the uppercut to the left hand.
Another beautiful adjustment, because in that round specifically, you had Jamari start shelling up, and he stayed like that without any action. And so there's a part where Jamari's up against the corner, and Johan literally comes up and feints one uppercut, feints the other uppercut, feints the right, and he's like, okay, I'm trying to think of an angle to come at him with, and Jamari did nothing. And so it's just Johan thinking okay, what's the angle? Okay, I think I got it. Next time he goes around, does the exact same thing, lands that uppercut, raises the chin, comes in with the left, done.
I mean, he sniped him with that shot. That left hand legit shot him. Like, he shot him.
Yeah, and then he's looking up at was it Olivier Coste? right?
Mhm.
And it almost looked like Olivier was doing the 10 count, and he was like, "Was that 8? Was that?" Like he was asking him as he's on his back, and Olivier counts to 10, waves it off. But what a fun fight! What a fun fighter!
Yeah. What's up with his brother? Is his brother going to get signed? Nick, do you have
Yes.
any insight on that?
Yeah. I did an interview with Johan, and then Jordan jumped in, and yeah, crazy twin brothers might be my new favorite. Twins in one. The Rutellas have some competition now. Sure. These guys are crazy. I think Jordan's not as loose in the head as Johan, but he may be soon. Johan's just a madman. He just watched the interview. He's just screaming. Yeah, and Jordan's a bit more reserved, but no, I love these guys. I mean, I love Johan. He's a star in the making. I like Zakaria as well. He's a cool dude, and he always brings it. But 250K bonuses now, I think, for Johan back to back, just like Lineker in 1 month. They are clearly strapping a rocket to this guy. I think they're gonna make him a star. Doesn't matter. He's kind of like Poatan, isn't he? He's not got a word of English, but he brings it in the ring. He always knocks people out. He doesn't need to speak English.
Fighting is a universal language.
Yeah, and I don't think Brazil, Spain, Colombia, like Spanish speaking, Portuguese speaking are kind of markets for one, really. But why not? This guy, like you said, this universal language can translate over to anything. I really like him. That's all I'm going
High
to say.
energy,
Yeah.
nice smile, exciting fights, great
Wonderful
dancer.
teeth. Yeah, wonderful
Yes,
teeth.
yes. He like checks all the boxes, right?
I was standing right next to him. I just couldn't help but think you've got a great set of gnashes on you. Perfect. Yeah. Really, really nice kid as well. And that is him. You'll see him around fight week. He's not putting it on for the cameras, during the fight and after. He is just like that around the hotel, around the face-offs, around the weigh-ins, everything. He's just mad, just absolutely crazy.
He's got so much energy.
Yeah, so much energy. We'll see if he's got that energy in 3 or 4 years after, a few more knockdowns if he keeps fighting like that without any defense. But for now, it's working for him. But he may have to tighten some things up against the elite of that division, right?
Yeah, that's the real ticket, because the Climaco fight, the first knockdown was because he dropped Climaco and he rushed in and got caught. And in this fight, twice he got a little overzealous and got cracked. Didn't put him down or anything, but that's now twice now where it's like, hey man, be a little reserved. But these fights like this, what can separate him from like a good fighter who gets finishes to like an evolving fighter who's can become great is like, even though there's some fighters who only learn lessons from losses, and they're like, oh, I won the fight, I don't really need to tighten up anything, I won. Yeah, he hit me, but I still won, so like, why am I gonna change my game or anything like that? But if he can learn and adapt despite winning, like, it shouldn't take a loss to make you learn, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So hopefully that's the case for him, because I do want to see him go as far as like possible. It's so much fun.
I just worry if there's a ceiling on it with the division he's in. Is he going to get that fight against the man who holds the belt? Seeing as not even Superlek can get that, but yeah, just I want to see a little bit more. There's plenty of guys he can fight in the meantime. They don't have to rush him, but he is very busy, right? If eventually he may be knocking on the door for a title shot in a year or two, and
again, as many stars as we can have, all ascending. Let's do it.
Yeah, but there's just there's some problems in the flyweight Muay Thai division, with Rodtang not seemingly defending the belt against everyone who perhaps deserves it. You know what I mean?
Nice,
but
yeah.
We'll see.
One of my biggest like detractors from combat sports, and it happens all the time, where it's just like, it's just part of the game, but it's unfortunate. It's my least favorite thing in combat sports, probably, is fighters who the window's so small and they earn a title shot with what they're doing, and for whatever reason, things outside of their control, they don't get the title shot when they deserve it, and they end up getting it. Either they don't end up getting it ever, or they end up getting it too late. And I just hate when somebody clearly deserves a title shot, has to fight a couple more times, and they end up losing or something, or they get injured, and then that's a setback and they get passed up. Now this next guy earned the title shot and he never climbs his way back up, and it's so depressing for me when there's someone like that. There's people who, I understand sometimes you got to give a title shot to someone for star power, because at the end of the day it is an entertainment business and you need people to watch so that you can keep putting on shows. But there's a meritocracy with fighting where it doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter if you had a bunch of money in your while you're growing up and you had access to the best gyms and everything paved your way so that you could focus just on fighting, and you could get matched up with someone who had nothing, came from nothing, worked way harder than you because they had to provide for their family as a kid and things like that. But once they get into the fight, none of that matters, and that person who came from nothing can still beat you in a fight. And when those people get passed up for moments of greatness like title shots and what that can do financially for you, that really sucks. It's such a bummer for me. When someone earns something, when you earn something in fighting, you fucking earn it. Like, there's so much that goes into earning something in the fight business. And if you earn something and you never get it, that sucks. It's my least favorite thing in fighting.
Yes.
That was deep.
That's my soapbox.
That was deep.
That was deep, Will. I almost shed a tear for sure. That was really.
Did it even make any sense? Halfway through, I was like, "Am I making sense right now?"
It did. It made perfect sense. It made perfect sense. Yeah. And so for those that are tuning in for the first time, we can go deep over here, and we make sure that we attract all demographics. But yes,
we try to cover all the bases.
Yeah, you cover all the bases. Do you guys want to move on to the last fight we're going to cover?
Yes. Yeah, unless Nick, do you have anything else for Estupinan?
No, I just think we may be prematurely talking of title shots here because there's a bunch of other guys in front of him.
Yeah.
Division, we didn't see Kongtor any fight, but I think he's going to be higher. There's Nakrob, Dead One. Like, there's a few guys. Then you got Jacobs there, Dennis Purge. So plenty of fights still for Johan to have before we talk about title fights. Obviously,
let's just enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy the ride for now.
Enjoy the ride, yeah.
There we go. All right, we're gonna cover Botelho versus Thongpoon.
Thongpoon has been on a rough stretch lately, huh? He kind of burst onto the scene. Everybody's fallen in love with him. The walkouts are fantastic. He's got the chain, he's got the sunglasses, he's got the tattoo on his chest.
Nice guy.
Dude, walking out like he's from East LA, dude. Every time I see this guy, I love it.
Yeah. and dude, he cracks. He comes out to bang, dude. And this one, he had a little bit of trouble getting started, I think. He kept getting stung every time he was trying to come in. I thought
they get stung, they clinch, they'd clash, they clinch, they'd clash, they clinch. So, I mean, for him, it's probably hard to get in a rhythm.
Yeah, and speaking of rhythm, Rui did such a great job of he didn't have a lot of tendencies, at least early on. As he got tired, he kind of did a little bit more, but the front kick to the body, the elbows, the step in knee, the leg kicks, like he was really showing him so many different things where Thongpoon would blitz in and sometimes he'd step back, snipe him with the counter. Sometimes he'd crash in with an elbow. So even Thongpoon, as he enters, it's like, is this guy about to crash into me or is he about to counter me?
Guessing. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. He kept him guessing it. It took a while for Thongpoon to kind of figure out what was happening. I thought later on he started, tagging him a bit. But I think it was just a little too late. I want to give a shout out to Olivier Coste. This was his first time reffing in a while.
Yes,
and
nice
he had his work cut out for him in this one because that third round, dude, it was hilarious because they like Ramiro, you said, they clash and they clinch. And he's like, all right, separate. And Botelho's pretty much up, right? We won the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, and I think he probably knew that. And he's like, I just have to survive and I'll win this fight. So he's clinched, and he's probably dead tired too because his output was insane. But they'd clinch. Thongpoon would be the one initiating the clinch most of the time, but then he'd hook him with like an overhook on one side and hug him like this side with the underhook, and then Olivier would step in and be like, all right, break. And Thongpoon would put his hands up, and Rui would look at him like, okay, yeah, separate. Like, what's happening? He's holding on to me. As he's like holding on to him from the far side, sneakily. And Olivier's like, dude, you have to stop holding on and pretending like you're not holding on. It was so funny, dude. It was so because like he'd look at him like, man, get this guy off me as he's like around his back from the other side. But man, Olivier had his work cut out for him in this one. But it was a fun fight.
You guys mentioned earlier, actually, I think it was you, Nick, that we have Lineker that's wanting to take a shot to throw another one of his own. Now, Thongpoon, he gets hit with the left. He still waves Botelho towards him, right? He's telling him, come on, I want some more. There's this point where he's up against the ropes, and Botelho misses by, like, it's got to be centimeters, man. Like, misses his nose. He's going left, right, and you just see no head movement from Thongpoon, but you see his jaw just clench. Yeah, he's just biting down, just staring at Botelho, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? Move. Get some head movement going.
But that dude, he'll take it. He'll eat that shot and crack back. He will. And Blunderbuff says, Botelho hater for life after all that holding. Yeah, that's tough, man. Pepper says, I feel like he should stand more at the distance rather than blitzing in, ending up in the clinch. I'm assuming you're just talking about Thongpoon. Yeah, the blitzes just weren't working, man. It just wasn't working for him. And I think part of it was probably maybe out of frustration because he was kind of getting picked apart in the earlier fight. And just he was just kept guessing, and he was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm blitzing in. I'm trying to land my shots. And then it was just ultimately getting him into the clinch. And, he needed to finish in that third round, and he's not going to get it there. But it was a fun fight. I enjoyed it. And to Blunderpump's point, he said he's a hater for life. I might be the opposite. I'm actually very excited to see his next fight because, yeah, the third round was a little but the first two, I was like, man, this guy's firing on all cylinders. I really liked what I was seeing.
Yeah, I'm maybe the president of the Rui Botelho fan club for real. This guy is so underrated. It's unbelievable the amount of hate he gets. Well, not hate, just indifference towards him. He has fought the biggest names in one, Panpayak, Superlek. He never says no. Thongpoon's in dangerous fight, but he nullified him completely. I got the scorecards here. It was one. Abby gave it 30-27, but Ricky and who was it? Shane, 29-28, probably more what I would think, like you said. I thought Rui showed he's a level above. Just he had so much more technically. It was beautiful to watch him in person, and he did the same to Zhang Peña. I really want to see
also
Rui
very
again.
good.
Yeah. I want to see Rui versus John DeBella. I think that would be a super high technical fight. Because, Muay Thai, he'll do it, but kickboxing is really where he's best. So, excellent win for him. And he's quite funny, I think. You should watch his interviews. He should be given more attention. Very eloquent. He was saying some funny stuff. Thongpoon was like Juggernaut from Marvel. It was cool. Yeah, I think Rui needs to have either Prajanchai next or DiBella. Maybe DiBella makes sense because seems like Prajanchai not going to do the DiBella rematch immediately. So you could do either like an interim kickboxing thing at strawweight with Rui and John DiBella, or you could do a number one contenders thing. Perfect. I know that John DiBella and his dad and the team wanted it in Atlanta, but Atlanta has moved. Might be a good segue now to talk about that, but. Yeah, Rui Botelho, I can't say enough good things about him. Nice man, nice fighter, really cool dude. And I think he's still young enough, 31, I think. He's right in his prime. He put some respect on his name, Regina Eersel was asking for one to promote him more. I think Rui Botelho as well could benefit from that. Obviously, Thongpoon is going to get promoted. He's Thai, he's fun, he's got the look, he's a nice dude. But if you call yourselves the home of martial arts and we're the best strikers on the planet, you got to promote those guys who are the best strikers on the planet. That is Regina Eersel. That is Rui Botelho. Show my boys some love. Come on, guys. I'm very high on Rui. I don't think he gets enough respect. And Blunderbub's not a huge fan, but the holding is smart. He's using his brain. He's got fight IQ for days.
To Blunderbub's credit, he said, "Okay, but I am a casual, so you can't get mad at me."
not mad. I just think when I watch Rui Botelho, I learn things, and it's just when you go to Lumpini, you watch a lot of guys just crashing into each other, like two cars heads on. But when you see how he can mix in defense, he's not getting tagged the way Johan was, for instance. He's smart. He still had he had a bad couple scratches, shall we say, on his face, but just beautiful to watch. I'm sorry to say it. If you don't like Rui, I don't think you like fighting,
Here's the thing. I wasn't going to say this. I was going to hold this because I already made my leap of a comp for Estupinan with Pereira and Anderson Silva, but I'm going to say it after that. You inspired me to say it. I'm not saying he's as good, so don't get all crazy, but the first 2 rounds, his shot selection, his output, his volume, his, like you said, his awareness, his distance control, all that stuff really reminded me of John Jones, like young John Jones. Whoa. I'm not rich with them. Oh my God. I'm not saying he's Jones or like that, but he gave a lot of that are very reminiscent of John Jones, where John Jones had people guessing and had people frozen and had people rushing because they were like, dude, I am getting picked apart. He throws these front kicks to the body. He throws the front kick up top. He throws the leg kick, the outside body kick. Everything is slotted to look the same. So you don't know which one's coming. His entries were so good. I swear, the way he would sometimes pull counter and sometimes crash in with a knee or an elbow. Even the step in wasn't the same. Sometimes he's stepping with the elbow. Sometimes he's stepping with a knee. Like, you just don't know what's coming. And it just really reminded me of John Jones. I'm not saying he's John Jones level. I don't think he's the GOAT. But I was very impressed those first 2 rounds. I was like, dude, this is some slick shit. Blunder says
Blunderbow, yes.
Yes, I'm sure he's a much better person than John Jones.
Yes, 100%.
I haven't met John Jones, but Rui's a very nice person.
Yeah, I'm sure John Jones is great to meet at public events.
Well, it depends. Events,
public events, as long as there's no alcohol around, as long as the public event is not at a strip club, as long as
okay, there we go.
Yeah,
I was gonna say depends on the venue, but yes,
John Jones in private, horrifying. To Dana's point, you go in the room with John Jones, only John Jones walks out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. So Nick mentioned, 168 being moved.
169.
Sorry, 169 being moved. No longer in Atlanta, right? So you guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Glad I did not buy my plane tickets. I was very, very close to.
Yeah, boy.
I did. Yeah. Look, I think I'll be able to get a refund for my flight. I think, pretty sure. But that being said, that does suck. There's probably a lot of people who can't, and it is unfortunate. We had a ton of shout out Pepper, brought this up earlier. Look, it is not ideal for, I think, everybody involved that this got moved. There's probably some silver linings that you can find. Pepper says, well, I guess it'll be a while before I see you guys in person.
Yeah.
That would have been the reunion. Denver for us was very cool. It would have been, we were very excited. We had some new tricks up our sleeve after learning the lay of the land a little bit in Denver. Some new equipment was purchased, perhaps, to make, but it is what it is. I'll use that for short films anyways. But at the end of the day, there's lots of speculation on what transpired. I think, what did one say? It was partnership obligations with Thailand. I don't know what that means, but I know it sucks that we're not going to be able to see this live because your boy cannot fly to Bangkok on a month's notice. It's a good $1,000 more than the flight to Atlanta was. I look. Obviously, they say, shout out Dark Side, by the way, they're going to make Christian Lee fight at Lumpini. Didn't think I'd see it. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of things about this that are not great. Obviously, Tawanchai not on the card anymore. That was kind of the cat was out of the bag, I think, when Chatri talked about it in that press conference. I think it was your question, actually, Nick. You asked him about Superbone versus Smokin' Joe and whether that meant the winner of that would fight Tawanchai in Atlanta. And Chatri's like, well, we made this fight because we're not really sure if Tawanchai is going to make that fight. And I was like, well, Tawanchai is not making that fight. Once he said that, I was like, there's no way. So that obviously is a big hit on the card. There's the rumors about Rodtang being off his fight. And my line of thinking is, if Tawanchai's not on the card, and that's not confirmed, that's still just rumors, but if Rodtang's off and Tawanchai's off and you're in a big arena, it's going to be a tough sell, and it's just not good. So they're like, look, let's cut our losses and move. I'm assuming. Shout out John says, what would happen to the Jacob Smith Rod? Yeah, I mean, that fight's still on as of right now, right? There's no.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know there's rumors.
Thai media is sort of telling me rumors that Rodtang's not going to take the fight, and you never know with Rodtang, right? Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I have nothing concrete, but yeah, I'm sad this show is not in Atlanta, but I'm kind of glad I'm saving a shitload of money. Spent a lot going to Denver. It wasn't cheap. The flight or the hotel, and generally everything in America, you guys, is fucking expensive. I don't know why.
It's because everything's
not me
huge,
saying like get Biden, Kamala Harris out or whatever, Trump, but it's Ray Flores is always telling me inflation's gone crazy, bro. But I'm happy to save that money, and obviously Lumpini is an easier trip for me, and now I get to like have a nice chill 4 weeks here and really relax. Don't have to get there early to adjust for jet lag, and I probably would have stayed in America because you don't get there often, so I would have done some holidaying as well. But now I can save a lot of money, and most of the card is stayed intact. Yeah, other than that Tawanchai fight, as far as we know. But like you were saying, it already seemed like it was off. So positives and negatives for this. I didn't see a ticket sales map, but maybe someone did and can fill me in on whether it was doing well or bad. But
I don't think it was doing the best.
Yeah. If I'm one, they've announced 2 shows for next year in America already on the ground, I think in May and December. I'm doing 2 in Denver. I'm just going Denver back to back. Secure that as your market. It evidently you can get fans into the seats, and people enjoyed it. So I just double down on Denver being the home of one in America, and try and get fans to fly in if they want to see one in America instead of trying to go to other markets. We know Denver is a popular fight town, and people will go and watch anything there, I'm pretty sure. So I double down on Denver, and then obviously Lumpini is the home of one in Asia, but I try and get out to Japan. I know they're looking at that next year. I think I'm hearing Qatar is back in play for December. Manila has to come back into the equation soon, you'd think, once Joshua Pasio is healed, and maybe Denise Sambuanga has an interim belt. They will go there, I'd imagine. I'm also hearing Macau is on the radar. Now UFC are going there next month. I think one are going to go next year. That would be great for me. I can take a ferry over there, 45-minute ferry. I could even come home after each day if I wanted to, but I wouldn't. I'd probably chill in Macau because it's quite fun there.
Do some gambling or what?
Not that I'm a gambler really, but it's a fun little town. It's basically like Vegas planted down in China. So cool place to visit. It sucks. Like I said, it sucks. Positives and negatives, bittersweet. I'm sure not a great look, is it, when you've had this big successful show in Denver and then you cancel the next one. But I don't think the fighters mostly will mind, because who was on it that was in America,
I'll tell you what, my boy, our boy, friend of the show, Eddie Abasolo, he announced, I'm fighting in Atlanta, and then literally the next day.
You're not Eddie, you're going to Thailand again.
But I hope he's still on the card at least, because that's my boy and I love watching him fight, win or lose. But Darkside
he's
says,
great.
is Christian Lee still on the card? I only see Malakin versus Rug on the poster. I see that as well, but he's still listed at least, Christian Lee. So is Rodtang, Adriano Moraes, Jake Peacock. Peacock, he's in North America, right? Most of the time.
Moraes as well. Maybe I'm going to have to eat my words. Yeah. Adriano
Moraes
is
is
in Florida.
Yeah.
But Adriano
it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to fight.
He just wants to fight, yeah. As long as they all get the same paychecks, same, I know that Denver obviously had a bigger budget for bonuses, right? Chachi was throwing them out like no tomorrow. I hope he's just as generous, even though it's in a smaller arena in Lumpini. I hope the budget hasn't changed, things like that. If anything, they should be saving money. So hopefully, we see like 5, 6, 7, 8 bonuses thrown out. And sucks, yeah. I do love the big stadium shows. In one, I'm hoping we get one more this year in Qatar. It looks like.
Yeah, and let's see, what was the one? I saw one in the chat. Chummy Boy said, I saw someone said it's an issue contract ran out with the ticket distributors in the USA. I saw that as well. I don't think that's actually the case, though. That didn't seem that. I don't know. It didn't seem that actually like well founded. It didn't seem like it came from any like sources or anything. It was just like seemed like a big theory in my opinion.
I've heard that too, and I've heard the other side of it. People saying that's not true to me. I don't know where to stand on it. I've heard both sides of it. Well, I heard that this company was having financial issues too. To take that for what it's worth. I don't know. I'm going to look into it more. What are they called? Stage front VIP.
Stage front VIP. Yeah. I don't think that whole theory was 100% accurate. There was some pretty huge claims in that theory that I don't think were the case. And I was trying to find the announcement. I could also be wrong on this. I remember somebody, shout out the One Watch Party chat on Discord. I believe someone mentioned way back that Stagefront wasn't listed as an affiliate on the Atlanta card from the get-go. I feel like I remember someone saying like, hey, how do you get VIP in Atlanta? I don't see Stagefront like months ago. So if they pulled out, it just didn't really line up timeline-wise, in my opinion. But I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that from the beginning.
Well, I'll look into it. Now I'm back home. I was pretty busy. All this news dropped at midnight or so on Friday, 1 a.m. Saturday morning, and we had a show at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. I had to be up at 5. I mean, worst timing for me because I had a show to go and cover, right? And I haven't really been able to dig into it, but I'll have a little look this week, do some snooping around, see what I can find.
Yeah, because I don't think I just found the email of them saying like you're invited to the pre-sale. I don't see Stagefront listed anywhere on this email, at least. And this was in June, well before Denver.
Yeah, I didn't hear their name associated with it, I think, as well. There's people in the chat here, I think, who bought tickets, so maybe they can tell us whether that was associated.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Darkside said, what happened to Buccecha versus Ali Akbari? I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, I think that's probably would end up on guitar because Ali Akbari may fit that market, and Buccecha has a hefty purse, so you might need some stadium action for that one, and some Qatar dollars to help fund it all. And I'm hearing, I'm hearing the Qatar are going to reinvest in one. It's dragging out, but I think that show will be the big announcement. December, it sounds like.
I need it.
Yeah.
It seems like every time there's a big momentum gained with one, there's like a weird mishap step back. And it seemed like Denver was so big. Friday Fights 81 was so big. And then, Atlanta was going to be big. And then January has a tent pole with the Russell Crowe filming, all this stuff, potentially Rodtang versus Takeru. And I was like, dude, things are moving along. We are trending very well right now. And then Atlanta got moved. And I know it's made a lot of people sour, obviously.
Yeah, I think hindsight is whatever this phrase is, but
yeah, 2020.
Yeah, I don't think one should have booked 2 US shows in the space of 2 months, like back to back. Yeah, maybe space it out. Next month, they're 6 months apart or 7 months, May and December. Much better strategy. Yeah. You don't want to burn out the audience there because even if you are both in Denver 6 months apart, 7 months, I think they could still do well there. I don't know. Yeah, just it was a little probably a bad idea. I think it would have been better if one had maybe called this off a while, not just a month before. I think
that's tough
because like you said, you bought flights. Some people bought tickets
4 days after I bought my flight.
Yeah, I was very close to putting down a lot of money on a flight. I'm not sure I could have got it back, and hotels too. So, yeah, I think you don't want to piss off fans if you're trying to push into a new market, like such an important market as America. You don't want to, because fans in America are very hardcore, I would say, and they don't want to feel mistreated like that. So
yeah,
next, if this happens, you've got to give a bit more heads up, I would say. Maybe they didn't know until that point when they had to, and they kind of tried to keep it as long as possible. Yeah. So I'm just saying, if I'm a fan, I'd be annoyed. I hope it doesn't turn off fans in America who had bought tickets and stuff, because like you said, Will, so much positivity if your one was gained in the last couple of weeks, with a big show in Denver, and then the Friday Fights 81 card was awesome. Rodtang Takeru, it looks like things are going really well. This is a bit of a setback, but the good thing is the card's still happening. The fights are still on. The fighters are still going to get paid. You can still watch it on Prime Video at the same time. So
yeah,
silver linings and everything. Personally, I'm a little sad I can't go, but relieved as well. The travel would have killed me, but.
And the Dark Side coming through and saying we are fiending for more one shows in America. We go into debt to watch entertainment over here.
And shout out Chester. Boys, just got back from hockey. Got to get up in 5 hours. I'll listen at work tomorrow. Shout out Chester. But yeah, the fights are going to be good. Regardless of some outside drama, you tune in and Lineker's on the card. And you're going to forget all about it anyways. And you watch him knock somebody out. I think that's kind of all we need to go into. Fights were good. Denver or Atlanta's a bummer, but it is what it is. Still some good fights. Like you said, the card's mostly intact. That'll be fun.
Yeah. What else? Who else deserves a shout out? I think you covered all the fights that were key.
Yeah,
wasn't the greatest card, but still some notable talking points for sure. And the weigh-in stuff was the big talking point in fight week.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I do think that on paper, though,
it's a good idea on paper. Yeah,
yeah, it does work well on paper. It makes it's logical. I think there might need to be like hey, we're going to be doing this in a couple months. Like this event, 4 events away, that's where we're going to be starting this new weigh-in process. I think probably would have been a better move, unless they were telling people earlier and just made it public later. I don't know about that.
So the first one was always going to be a disaster, I thought.
Yeah.
But I think, next month after, you would have seen people kind of get the hold on it. But for me, the problem is it was so complicated, and I even just writing the articles I did and the tweets, I was like, this is so much information. You need to make it simple for fighters and fans, right?
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, they changed the way the weigh-ins work. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, but now it is a official 1 hour window. You have to make weight and hydration. If you fail either, 20% fine, and you then get 2 additional hours to make both weight and hydration. If it exceeds those additional 2 hours, you can no longer negotiate a catch weight bout.
Yeah.
That was the official process at the start. Then there were some exceptions that were made, it seems like, with the catch weight negotiations.
Yeah. It boils down to you've got to have a hydration test pass in 3 hours. Then you'll still be able to fight. If you don't
But
pass
you'll
the
still be
hydration,
fined.
Again, it's so complicated, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you pass hydration in the 3 hours, you can negotiate a catch weight, and then your opponent will get some of your purse. If you pass hydration, if you pass hydration and make weight, but it's in the second or third hour, you got to give 20% to your opponent's charity of their choosing.
Yeah.
See, it's getting so convoluted now. If you pass in the first hour, it's fine. So you know, that's the important point. Everyone should be passing the first time,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But and there were some people who failed in the first hour, came back and passed in the first hour. So I think you've got to have the balls to just go with it and say, like, right, we're going to be strict about this, and if fights are cancelled, so be it.
Yeah.
But then they lost 3 fights, and then another one on the morning of the show dropped off because of a injury. Hero Minowa had a whiplash from a minor car accident. He was saying so.
I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah. Problem is, you can have all the best intentions with this, and I thought it was actually a good idea, but in the reality, it's just going to leave you with 5 fights, shows, and you know you've got to fill 4 hours of airtime on Amazon. But I was joking with some of the producers after outside, just like, oh, can we have 3 fights cancelled every month? That show was really nice and tight. You know, we'd all still be in there. I'd still be here till 2 p.m. doing interviews and stuff. I'd have a ton more work to do. I actually like the shorter cards. I think 9 fights for me was perfect. You know, 12 or whatever it was, 8. Yeah, I think we could chop it down from 12 to 9 every time. Be pretty a bonus. But then there's less fighters getting paid. You know, and that's important, and one needs to give these guys and girls fights for sure. So maybe if they go back to having 2 monthly shows, you know, a Prime Video and a numbered, they could run 9 fights on each. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
anyway,
and plus Friday fights every week.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. We covered a lot, guys. All right, so one fight night 25. Shout out once again for the GOAT, Mr. Nick Atkin, for joining us. Nick, this is an opportunity for you to plug anything that you'd like to plug, sir.
Yeah, you can see all my handles there. I think they're all the same on all the platforms I use. Was a crazy week, 10 days in Bangkok. My YouTube went from 4,000 to 15,000 or something. I'm now have an army of Burmese fans. Thank you. Thank you, Tanzin. Just it took me from nothing to something in space of a week. No, it's been a cool month. Yeah, you know, I started that channel pretty much in Denver, and to see the response has been cool. Yeah, so just follow me on there. I'm gonna do my own show tonight, Asia time, so tomorrow morning US time. Sorry, I haven't been very active on there. Like I was saying at the start of this show, been on the road mostly for the last 5 or 6 weeks. We'll get the podcast going again over the next 4 weeks. Maybe try and get these boys on my show. Who knows if time can work out? But tune in tonight. I'll do my own recap and give my own thoughts on Atlanta. That's about it, guys. I'm planning on just chilling for 4 weeks, so not much coming up for me. I
well deserved.
See these permanent bags under my eyes. Yeah.
Take that break, enjoy the time, you know, and then just come back refreshed, man.
Yes, I'll be in Lumpini Stadium for 169 in about 5 weeks' time. What is it, November 9th? Yeah, 4 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, it's close.
Haven't got as much time as I thought. Yeah. I think it's 4 weeks. Normally we get 3 weeks and then I'm flying out again for another fight week. But I think it'll be 4 weeks at home this time. I'm happy for that. Relax.
Well, there we go. Thanks again for joining us, Nick. It's always a pleasure. And shout out to all the listeners that joined us. Usually this is the part where I kind of call everybody out, but there's way too many people to name. You know who you are, though. Appreciate you joining and making the chat a lot more fun here with all the comments. And in case anybody's wondering who produces the show, we have Mr. Richard Bustos in the background producing. So look, the crowd is
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Ron. Thank you all for listening to Community Creative Fight.